Okay, here we are at the Chicago International Film Festival here at the Music Box Theater, and I'm honored to be with one of the directors that they're doing a tribute for is Mr. Joe Dante. Joe, nice to see you today. Your film work is just absolutely phenomenal. Where did it all begin? How did you get started into filmmaking?
I went to art school and was going to be a cartoonist, and they told me at the Philadelphia College of Art that cartooning wasn't an art. So I'd have to do something else. So they had a film class, 40 kids and one camera, and that was pretty much how it started. But then I didn't pick up a camera again for another, it's almost 10 years.
Wow, yeah. And as far as a lot of your movies sort of have hints of B movies in there as well, and I believe you work with Roger Corman. Is that how you sort of pay tribute to him, by putting those little things in the movies?
Well, I saw a lot of these pictures when I was a kid, and I sort of grew up on those kind of movies. And when I got a chance to work for Corman, I was one of the few people who actually liked the movies that he had made before. And I've never sort of lost those roots. I mean, those Saturday matinee pictures were kind of the reason that I was interested in making movies.
One of the best movies I've seen was Gremlins, and you also collaborated with Steven Spielberg on it. How do you like working with Mr. Spielberg?
Well, in the case of both Corman and Spielberg, it was unusual for me, or for a lot of filmmakers, because they were two guys who had made films before. They'd both been directors, and when you had a problem, they knew exactly what you were talking about. It wasn't a matter of trying to explain some arcane problem to some studio executive who would just say, "I don't care, I don't know how you do it anyway, just do it." Yeah. I mean, these guys were basically, very collaborative and understanding. So it was just easier.
So a lot of your movies have special effects, and then I believe the burps didn't have quite as much. Is it harder working with the effects than not in some movies? Or?
Well, effects are, they're always complicated, but they exist basically to serve the story. And if you start to get, overwhelmed with them, then pretty much you're just doing a reel for the effects house. You're not really making a movie. And I think the trick has always been to try to do something interesting and different that doesn't, run away with the rest of the picture. Because movies are really basically about people.
And I noticed, also growing up, Explorers is just a fabulous film about kids wanting to go up in a spaceship, which is every kid's dream. Is that sort of some of your personal thoughts and feelings?
No, I never really wanted to be an astronaut. I mean, I was happy exploring outer space via the movies, but there was a guy who used to draw for Disney Comics called Carl Barks, who recently died, who did all the Donald Duck comics, and he had an interesting worldview that was very educational for kids and kind of inspiring, and I sort of basically took a lot from him in making that particular picture.
And with Inner Space, that was such a fun movie. Is it as much fun as making it as watching it?
That's one of the few movies that was as much fun to make as it is to watch. It was really a lot of fun because Marty Short is a guy who, you can do 10 takes with him, and by the time you get to take 10, you could hardly even tell it's the same movie that you started with on take 1. But that's, part of the fun. And it was really just a very nice time making that picture.
Dr. Kanker here has pioneered the field of limb replacement.
Jack, you're generating too much electrical energy. I can't hold the balance. Try to stay calm, Jack.
Cowboy, stop it. Don't do that. I was just kidding. Please, Cowboy. One more. It's only a joke. Cowboy, I beg of you. Stop it.
How you doing, Jack? God in heaven, deliver us from Satan.
Towards the end of the film, it looked like there was going to be a sequel. Did you do it to try and have a sequel, or was it just paying homage to like those serials?
No, it was. I'm always surprised when anything gets a sequel. I made a picture called The Howling that had like 6 sequels or 7 sequels, but none of them had anything to do with the original movie.
And anything for the future you got coming up?
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, just because they do a retrospective here doesn't mean that you're stopping work.
Right.
Yeah, I wish I could make some big announcement, but I got a bunch of stuff, and I'm hoping that one of them will pan out.
Yeah. Any favorite of the films that you like? Because every one that was just great when I seen them, but any personal for you?
I don't know. It changes every week. I mean, I could give you a different answer next week. Currently, we're just watching Gremlins 2, so I guess maybe that's the one I like.
It's a fabulous movie too. Joe, thank you very much for taking the time for this interview, and I look forward to seeing more of your work.
Thanks.